into week 4. We are live. We are getting ready for week 4 of the NFL DFS as we speak. I've said this many times. Enter free contest. Why not? I don't think I've won a free contest in a while, but I'm going to reserve this free Sunday Night Showdown. Yeah, possible winnings. I got a free ticket for the Millionaire because of I've been doing the Rainmakers. This is NFTs. What do we like? What do we like? We want you to, kind of participate in this, right? All right, last week was bad. I did not do well. I've got my protein shake, by the way. It just worked out. I love live anything. Trying to get up to 20 followers, so let's see if we can do that. All right, so I subscribe to Fantasy Labs. This is great. Cash games. If those have not used that, there's models. So we look at DraftKings, and then it rates guys. Like, this is just the lineup builder, which I love. Has projections, leverages. Cash games, you want to play a lot of chalk. For some reason, I don't love Jamal Williams tomorrow. This might come back to hurt me, but I always feel like when these guys that are subs that are slam dunks, they never are. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys like what I do in terms of on FanDuel. I'm going to show you what I do. $20. I'm playing extra dollar this week, but mainly cash games, small tournaments. These are 20-man, and the reason I do this is because even in 100, I know you only have to beat 50, but there's multiple lineups in the larger size. So everything is small to me so that I hedge my bets, and I don't want to be in a situation when there's more multiple lineups. Because if you're in a 100-man 50-50 and 30 are multiple lineups, you're going to get screwed. And I don't want that. So that's what I do. And I play pretty much all cash games, and I do all single entry tournaments. I do 3 small ones. These are only 1,178, I believe, 76. And then I do 1 single entry large one. That's almost 30,000. DraftKings, same thing. $40 is not 40 really, because I got a free $1 million ticket for tomorrow. On DraftKings, again, these are all 10-mans. The 50-50s are 10, 5, 3-player, 10 players, a couple head-to-heads. I do a quintuple up, and then I do 4 quarter. These are huge. I'll take some shots in that one. I did that last week, and I'm interested to see what was the winning lineup. Usually these scores are higher because you got to really shoot high. Terrible. And look at this. This is all like high ceiling guys. That's what happens. 227. Look at that. Everybody low owned in that. And he had Rashard Penny. That was my play last, and that got in the winning lineup. Really hit on his receivers. I mean, look at this. This bottom five. I mean, he missed on his running backs and still won. Wow. Top 2 scores. Good for him. Won $3,500. That's, interesting to see. No running back production. I also caution people to look at this week and go, well, looks like everyone paid down at running back. That worked. That doesn't necessarily mean it will work this week. But if you're paying up at quarterback, I would advise to pay down it. You probably have to pay down somewhere. I would think, right? All right, who do I like in week 4? We'll start with DraftKings. I'll just go to this lineup. I put in dummy lineups. Starting at quarterback, for cash games, I have been a little confused on cash games. I've been paying up. I still think the strategy is to pay down in cash games because you're doing point per dollar. So when you go over here to the models and you look at some of the ratings, points per dollar is what you're looking for in cash games. Points per salary. And Derek Carr is popping as a high one. Geno Smith. I mean, do you really want to play those guys? That's the thing for me. Mitchell Trubisky could be a huge sleeper tomorrow. He really could, because it's the Jets. But could he throw 3 touchdowns tomorrow? He probably could. But every game, in cash game is, again, you want to go with projected ownership. That's what I'm looking for. I think tomorrow I might pay down at quarterback. I like these stats. If you look at this, passing yards allowed, I mean, it's insane what some of these teams have given up. Cleveland's right kind of in the middle. But look where Atlanta is. Atlanta's been bad. So would Jacoby Brissett be a good cash game? Low rushing yards? I don't see anything wrong with that. And let's plug him in. But I also at quarterback, like, if you're going to pay up, Allen. If you're going to pay down, if you don't go Allen, I just think you pay down. Jared Goff at home. If we go to average points, but I mean, look at the points though that some of these top guys are getting. So I can see where it makes sense, because it seems this year already there was a huge separator. I mean, Allen is averaging 17 more fantasy points a game than Jacoby Brissett. So if you're going to pay down a quarterback, you have to have a reason for it. Is that because you want to fit in, say, a Taylor? I like to play 3 running backs in cash games. Taylor. You could go Williams, And then maybe Najee Harris. You can't pay up at tight end. You know, you could go down at Njoku or like Dallas's defense. But then again, you know, you're going to have to find a lot of values. And are there? There are. Richie James of the Giants at 4,000. You know, look at some of the receivers here that are chalk tomorrow. James, Deontay Johnson, you know, Mac Hollins. If we go to Mac Hollins, and that gives us 7,000. You know, we're able to plug in. You know, Mike Williams is getting, but I think he's still a GPP play. CeeDee Lamb's getting a ton of targets. You know, that's not a bad cash game lineup. Oh, whoops. Actually, Jamal Williams, and that gives us 7,500. You know, say we even paid down more at running back. No, I think there's some really, there's a lot of different ways you can go tomorrow. I don't like playing road guys that aren't favorites. I really don't. I'm a little skeptical of playing some of these chalky guys tomorrow. I don't know why. It's just a gut. I've just been burned by those guys. I mean, implied total of 22 and 21. I don't love that. You know, I want more, a higher. You know, I think some of these guys are really good in cash. I mean, in GPP, Sanders, you know, Jamal Williams, I guess. Eckler in GPPs is going to be a lock for me. I'm going to play him. Let's say we even went down to Rashard Penny here. Well, then we can get whoever we want. You know, Diggs. Pay all the way up for Packers defense. You know, something like that. But I don't like having running backs from each game because that would let me believe that it's going to be slow. So I'm figuring out a way. I'd love to get, you know, both sides of this game in. I think that's kind of a must. But if you do that, you're going to have to pay down everywhere. So that's the dilemma, you know. You know, Hollins, you know, there's going to be a lot of lineups like this. You know, pay down a defense. Baltimore's going to be a good GPP defense, probably. Cash games like home favorites. I really think Dallas is the best for cash games. Indianapolis is not bad either, but I really like Dallas. So then you see you got to really pay down everywhere else. Is it worth it? You know, would you go with a Geno Smith over Brissett? Jamal Williams. He's a sleeper tomorrow. This is a great GPP play. J.K. Dobbins. Throwing something like that. You know, I don't hate that. Actually, yes, I do. Because I don't want all those guys from the same game. So it's interesting, yeah. Some GPP plays I love tomorrow. Chubb at Atlanta. Eckler. This is a time to hop on a guy like this. Look at the targets. At Houston, a game they could be trailing in. I think that's, if you were to start a lineup like this, and look at, if you go here to some of the leverage tools, which I love. Chubb's got a huge leverage. Or by ceiling, and look at guys that are low owned, Chubb and Eckler really low owned tomorrow. Aaron Jones as well. Even Jalen Hurts at 9%. Herbert. I like guys like something like this. Aaron Rodgers at 1.6%. Hall of Famer. I get it. But he's home. It's against the Patriots. I mean, so if you pay up, you're going to have to pay down. Everyone's going to be on Dobbs. Would Lazard be the guy? I mean, 6,200. Or you could go with a single stack of Dobbs, and just let that go. Got to get a little different. This might be a time to play Cleveland's defense tomorrow. Or the Chargers on the road. I think the Chargers are in a good bounce back spot. No one's going to be playing their defense. Pay up somewhere. Let's see what we got for defenses. I can't believe Dallas is so low. I might just plug Dallas in, even into GPP. Tight ends. I want to see where Conklin is rated. 2% ownership. Wow. I'll get off these guys. Darren Waller, maybe. Zach Ertz, I'm looking for some high ceiling guys here. Gabe Davis, you might want to, or McKenzie, I want a piece of that. Buffalo, 5,100. See, this is where you get a little bit different. Duvernay, he's really a high ceiling guy, 4,100. And you'd want to go with somebody with, a higher ceiling, something like that. Yeah. So I think there's many ways you can go tomorrow. For DraftKings, I would say either pay up in cash games or go way down. I wouldn't go in the middle here. It is glaring what some of these guys are averaging, though. I find in FanDuel it is, for some reason, much easier to build lineups that you want, and some of that has to do with that there's no bonuses. I just think the salary is a little bit different. So let's go to our player model. You know, Barkley's really the chalk tomorrow, kind of like him. So say we went with a Barkley. And I really like to go with 3 running backs in cash games. You know, Najee Harris, because I think he'd score at home against the Jets. Dallas is now see there's a difference. Dallas is a lot higher. I don't mind paying down. I like the home guys, the home teams. You know, maybe just plug in Indianapolis, but you can see it's a lot easier. I mean, look where Mark Andrews is priced at. He's in tight end mode, but I still think you can pay down here. Or maybe you pay up. Wow, so in FanDuel, they got Jalen Hurts rated higher. That's interesting. At home against Jacksonville, I might pay up here and go to Allen, and then just see like what receivers are discounted. I mean, Drake London. You know, floor is also something you want too. I don't like to play 2 guys from the one team in cash games. I don't do that. It's kind of my rule. I'm just looking if there's any way I can get to Andrews. Yeah, Cooks is kind of popping too, a little bit of a leverage. Josh Palmer. That would give us 7,000. Still, wow. Where would I want to go with tight end? Probably down. You know, Conklin is not bad for the Jets. Targets. Plug him in. Gives us 1,600. So you can see it's a little bit easier, I think, to build lineups. I mean, go figure, you know, so you could go Barkley, Williams, Taylor, and then plug in, you know, it's not the best matchup for Detroit, but that's pretty solid. Barkley, Allen, Williams. You know, I kind of like that. All right, so enjoy the games. Hope everyone has fun. Also, I play at Super Draft. I want to quickly show you this. There are multipliers. I got $10 in for tomorrow. That's it. Whenever it loads. Whenever it loads. I have good internet here. Maybe their site's down. Okay, I'm not going to show you Super Draft. I'll show you another time. All right, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter @TheRadioMike.